and we were going to see if the hyenas got to the carcass. When we got there, there was actually six hyenas there, and feeding off the remainder of the carcass, there was still a small piece of skin left with just a little bit of meat, and then just one of them was playing around with the bones of the leg, and then off to the right, the lioness came back, and it was an interesting interaction because she went up on the little termite mound underneath the marula tree to where she had originally placed the wildebeest kill, and it was gone, and a couple of the young hyenas got close and kind of gave some vocalizations and then went off and played, and then the female lioness eventually got up, just walked down a little bit, and then walked up to where the skin was and just kind of sat there. There was a little bit of confrontation just for a bit, just some vocalization through both, but then she just laid down and started chewing on it, and the hyenas just kind of relaxed a little bit, where at one point there was actually a hyena just about a meter right behind the female lion, which was amazing. So yeah, so that was my first lion seen here at Wild Earth, and then tonight was the first male that I saw on the final control on the one monitor. You can't really see, it's right next to the camera. So yeah, it was amazing. I just kind of came in and looked up, and wow, that was an amazing sight. It is amazing to look into the lion's eyes. I'll never forget that. My first lion was a couple summers back in Kenya with a group from college, and we came across a female lioness on a wildebeest kill, and kind of managed to look each other in the eyes, and they're just amazing to see. All right, I'm just gonna look back, see if there's more questions coming in. All right, so yeah. All right, yeah, thanks, Karen. She's just mentioning like how we typically are, or how we kind of like to have the questions asked in the chat, because as you can see, it's kind of hard to make out some of the names. So if you do have a question and want your name, usually start off with the question, or if there's more of us here, you just start off with the person's name that you have the question for, and then maybe at the end write your name so we can kind of make it personal for you. So thank you for that, Karen. And let's see, Audrey. Yep, we're up late. It was just amazing to have that lion sighting, as well as Rory's back. I guess he worked at WE a little bit before, and then here off and on, and back visiting for a bit, and he'll probably be on camera. But yeah, we are kind of up a little bit later than we normally are, but it's just been one of those days that we've had a lot going on, just a lot of things, just trying to to get everything solved for you. It seems like there's always a new technical challenge every day here at Wild Earth, but that's just kind of half the fun. And yeah, and I'm also a little bit of a night owl myself, so I'll be around. So we're actually, yeah, if this goes well, we might actually start becoming a regular Saturday evening chat, where the next one we'll probably experiment and just do it shortly after the evening game drive to make it a little bit easier for us if I go on leave and all that, and just make it just shortly after the game drive, because apparently that's when there's more viewers watching, but we're going to experiment with times. Thank you, Kia. She's just dumping the We Final Control folks, the above and beyond the Call of Duty gang. Thank you for that. Yeah, we do try our best to bring you whatever we can. And yeah, and it's always a lot of fun. And I'll just show you that, yeah, it is it is night at the watering hole, and it's a little bit quiet right now, but the good thing is, with the lions being out there on the kill, they might come back again for another drink, so where I'll be here watching the cameras, and if anything else happens to come by, like some of the hyenas, we were actually at the camp here and heard a hyena off in the distance, so there might be one that stops by during the chat, or just during the evening. Alright, and just going back to look at some of the questions. All right, got a question from Pat. Is wondering, are there any special markings that identify the Manueletti brothers, or do we just know them because they travel in pairs? I'm not too sure about that. That's the first time that I've actually met them or seen any of them myself, and I've just heard a little bit about them. So that's one of the other things I'm going to kind of use for these Saturday chats, is I'm going to actually use it myself to learn, to where if there's any questions I can't answer, I'm going to try and get the answers for everybody and kind of return it the following week, as well as I'll try. Like today was a little bit hectic with going to town and everything, but I'll also try and maybe choose like an animal of the week, kind of a fun animal sign that we saw, and maybe go into a little bit of detail about that animal. Or if you have questions, I might be able to just answer them like that. Uh, Okay, looks like some people are having trouble with some sound. I'm not too sure what's the problem because things seem to be fine here. And looks like it looks like there's some picture that freezes up on occasion with some of the feeds. So, and we have a question from Bev. Is wondering if we're ever kept awake by the frog sounds at the watering hole. Actually, we do have the option to turn down the speakers at the in our final control here. But I've just been leaving them on. I actually enjoy the frogs a little bit. They haven't come around the camp yet, but it'll be interesting. We'll see how long it lasts before we kind of turn it down. Looks like some people are kind of have the frogs driving them nuts. Where yep, they're still going at it. Which you're hearing right now. These are the frogs that if you're in the chat room for the first time, this is what they're talking about. And yeah, yeah, they can be loud and kind of non-stop, especially now since the rain came out and more of them are out. So where earlier we actually saw a couple on the camera. All right, so I got a question from Jeannie, wondering what animal am I most looking forward to see live? Well, actually, just the other night we had one species, the black mamba, which is a snake that I've always wanted to see live. I find them very fascinating and would love to see one live and in person. And here we actually. Peter and Herman were out on the vehicle, and they actually came across one at one of the dams, and Herman got some great close-ups of it, and I was just having a blast here, and my eyes were glued to the monitor because they are very beautiful, and hopefully I'll get to see some actually in person myself out in the wild. And I'm also looking forward to seeing some wild dogs. Wild dogs are some of my favorite animals out there, and before I actually came, when I got hired on, I was looking around the website a little bit more and saw pictures of wild dogs, and I was just like, oh, I can't wait to be out there, and it'll be so amazing. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing some more of the snakes coming out, as well as the wild dogs, and also saw actually a cheetah in the area early on when I got here, which was actually kind of a rare thing here, excuse me, at Juma. So yeah, it was great. So yeah, I'm looking forward to some of the snakes and the wild dogs. All right. And I guess there's a follow-up question about that from WS, is wondering if there's any snakes back yet beyond mamba. Earlier on, we saw a Mozambique spinning cobra on one of the evening drives, but as for anything recently other than the mamba, and we haven't seen anything quite yet, but with the first little rain and the temperatures getting warmer, it probably won't be too long before we start seeing the snakes come out, which will be kind of good. I enjoy them, and yeah, hopefully I just talked with Alex, one of the former camera operators here, who really loves snakes and really kind of handled a bunch of them here. I actually took a snake handling course where I just asked him the other day which one he took, and so at some point I might be doing a snake handling course and might be able to get you some of the close-ups of snakes. Maybe not some of the venomous ones, of course, obviously, but yeah. I'm looking forward to the snakes, and I'll just show you guys once again. The watering hole here is a little bit quiet at night, other than it's hard to tell if that's a moth flying around the camera or it could be bats out there. But okay, looks like there's a couple more questions coming in from the email. So where once again, I'll just remind some of the new viewers out there. If you have any questions, you can either log on to the chat room under the We Social Network, and under We Shows, go to WeChat and just ask questions there, or you can send questions through to Final Control at wildearth.tv, to where we'll get them, to where you can also log in at any point during the day at the social network and ask questions, because some of us are in the chat rooms, as well as a lot of the viewers are regulars and know a lot about the history, which is really great.